know his name? What's his name? Anybody?
Hot.
Is his name Hot? What do you think his name is? Hot? How about
Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit? Now, Peter Rabbit is going to sit right here with Andrew because I think Peter Rabbit is going to get into mischief. Have you ever heard?
I've done this play.
You know what mischief is? Do you know
I've
this
done
story?
this play before.
Do you know this story?
I have this book at my house.
Do you?
I've done the
Well,
play.
you can help me with the story.
I've done the play.
Oh. Do you know what's going to happen to Peter Rabbit?
Yeah.
He's going to get into mischief.
A big
Okay,
trouble.
here he is, and we have to keep an eye on him. We have to keep an eye on his jacket. Okay? Okay. This is the story. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, and their names were...
I don't.
And Peter. And you know where they lived? They lived with their mother in a sandbank. Yeah, there he is. Underneath the root of a very big fir tree. So they live kind of outside, don't they? What do you think they're going to do? Now, my dears, said old Mrs. Rabbit one morning, you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go in Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there, and he was put in a pot by Mrs. McGregor. Run along and don't get into mischief. I'm going out. Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down the lane together. But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate. First he ate some lettuces and French beans, and then he ate some radishes. And then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. You think he'll find it? No. Around the end of a cucumber frame, who should he meet but Mr. McGregor? Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees, planting young cabbages. But he jumped up and he ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling out, "Stop, thief!" That's right. Peter was dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages, and the other shoe among the potatoes. There goes his shoes. You think he's going to lose his jacket too?
Yeah.
Oh. He ran on all 4 legs, then went faster, and he might have gotten away altogether if he had not run into a gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, quite new. Peter gave himself up for lost and cried. His sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows who begged him to save himself. Mr. McGregor had a basket and was about to pop it on top of Peter, but Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind. So now he's lost a jacket, and what else has he lost? What? His shoes. He rushed into the tool shed and jumped into a watering can. Here he is. He's shivering, I bet. It would have been a perfect hiding place if he had not had so much water in it. Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed, and he began to search it carefully. Then Peter sneezed. Kerchoo! And Mr. McGregor was after him in no time. Peter was trembling with fright, he had not the least idea which way to go. He was also very damp from sitting in that can. He tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. He came to a pond where a white cat, there's the white cat, was staring at some goldfish. She sat very still, but now and then the tip of her tail twitched as if it were alive. Peter thought it best to go away without speaking to her. He had heard about cats from his cousin, Benjamin Bunny. Oh no, what's Peter going to do here? He turned back towards the tool shed when he heard the noise of a hoe. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Peter scuttered underneath the bushes. When nothing happened, he came out and saw Mr. McGregor hoeing onions. His back was towards Peter, and beyond him was the gate. Peter started running as fast as he could. Mr. McGregor caught sight of him at the corner, but Peter did not care. He slipped underneath the gate and was safe at last in the wood outside the garden. Mr. McGregor hung up the little jacket and the shoes for a scarecrow to frighten them back. What's Peter going to do? Ah! Peter didn't stop running till he got home to the big fir tree. He was so tired that he flopped down on the floor and shut his eyes. His mother was busy cooking. She wondered what he had done with his clothes. It was the second jacket and pair of shoes that Peter had lost in 2 weeks. Peter did not feel very well that evening. His mother put him to bed and gave him a dose of chamomile tea, 1 tablespoon to be taken at bedtime. But Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail had bread and milk and blackberries for supper. But Peter didn't get any. But I have a question for you. What do you think Peter is going to do the next day when he feels better? Think he's going to do something the next day? Do you have any idea? Let me show you what I think he's going to do. I think he's going to get well. I think he is going to get a special basket with eggs, and he's going to share it with his mother. And who were his bunny sisters? What were their names?
Mopsy, Cottontail.
Right. Mopsy. Who else?
Mopsy.
Okay, who's another one? Cottontail. And so Peter is going to share his basket of eggs with his family. And that's the end of the tale of Peter Rabbit. What do you think? Was it a good tale? Did you like it? Good.